So hey guys, my power to the house has literally been shut off. We haven't kept up with the bills, and unfortunately, because of the new system they implemented where they can remotely shut off your power, I wasn't able to rough up the meter guy a bit and get a few extra days. So I'm currently sitting in this house without power. Now, what I thought to myself is, well, if I'm without power, I might as well do something useful. But the question is, what exactly can I do? How can I make a video if I have a camera here that only has a half an hour worth of record time and a laptop to edit the video off of that only is 89% charged? Well, maybe I am over-exaggerating the whole direness of the situation, but it's a Pentium core laptop. I mean, come on. The graphics are shared with the CPU. It's a Pentium core laptop. You computer people out there will understand my plight. Also, I might be over dramatizing about the camera a little bit because I always keep a 3600 milliamp hour battery pack charged up, which is currently plugged into the camera and will be used to charge my phone. Hopefully I'll get the power back on within the next day or so. But a funny thing is that I've actually invited my friend over for the weekend, and I didn't tell him that the power has been shut off. But let's get to what this video is actually about. This video, I figured this would be the best thing I can do in this time, is about how I spent $4 at a garage sale and I found myself a piece of glassware that is worth closer to $400. Actually, it's about $320. The $400 just sounds better. Well, technically, it can go as high as $360-ish, but yeah. So, I bought this piece of glass, not because I actually knew how valuable it was. I just bought it for one very specific reason. Now, let me go over what that reason is. I collect a special type of glass known as uranium glass, which is a type of glass, excuse me, which is a type of glass that glows distinctively green under a UV light. This was because there was the addition of uranium dioxide or some other type of uranium compound during the glass manufacturing process. This uranium reacts with a UV light if you shine it onto the glass, producing a greenish glow. I collect that stuff. It is actually slightly radioactive, and if you wanted to hear more about that type of glass, I'll put a link to one of my other videos in the description below. I'm going to be using Windows Movie Maker because that's the only thing I have on my laptop, so I'm not going to be able to add like the fancy little annotation things in the corner. I also collect a different type of UV reactive glass known as manganese glass, but I am not really, Anyways. So the reason why I picked up this piece of glass is I was walking through a little garage sale that they had a whole bunch of glass. Apparently it was a glass collector that was selling all this different stuff, right? And as I'm walking through, I'm looking, there's not really anything catching my eye. But I do have my UV flashlight. I had my smaller handheld one. If you want to see how I built that, you can check out another video in the description below. But I had my UV flashlight, right? And I was just about to leave the garage sale when I swiped by and something caught my eye. What was that? I said to myself. And I noticed that if I pass the UV light over top of this blue glass, you can see that it glows green. I can make it strobe too with the function of this flashlight. But, so yeah, it glowed green. And I was like, wow, uranium glass. Maybe, not quite. The thing is with this is that sometimes uranium was added to different colors of glass, such as pink glass or blue glass, but it's more likely to be manganese, which can also glow green, but instead of glowing the very brilliant fluorescent green, it tends to glow more of a, this is uranium glass here, it tends to glow more of a lime green. But they do look fairly similar when I look at them side by side. So I'm having a difficult time telling. The only way I could definitively tell whether or not this was uranium glass and not manganese glass is with a Geiger counter. But there was something that struck me, something that struck me, something that striked me as funny. When I got back home, I turned this over to the bottom, and what I saw was a $199.99 price tag, presumably from some type of antique shop this person would have bought this from. And I was like, that's kind of weird. Maybe it was just super overpriced. I don't know. What happened though is later on, after discovering this is the, I don't know if I said this already, but this is Anchor and Hawking Mayfair pattern, and it's made in a light blue color, which is rare for this type of glass from the time. Usually it was like a greenish color, or it was a pinkish color, or it was crystal, which was just their way of naming clear glass. But upon investigating online, I had found that this specific piece is worth about $320 or $380. It's sort of an in-between there. This piece is apparently pretty rare. The color is rare in this specific pattern. Like a pink version of this is worth about $60, but the color is especially rare. And one of the things that makes things like this is a candy dish, a pedestal candy dish with Mayfair pattern by Anchor and Hawking. The thing that makes dishes like this usually more valuable, I mean not usually, exclusively more valuable, is the fact that there's still a lid intact. Because when people bought stuff like this, it was very common for it to get thrown in boxes and for the lid to get tossed around or lost or something like that. So finding a piece like this, I'm gonna break the $320 piece of glass. Finding a piece like this, you know, you might be able to get from somebody that might have just the lid or want to replace the bottom because they have a lid that's perfectly intact but their bottom's bad. You might be able to get $100 for it. But the fact that it has both the lid and the bottom of it still intact makes it extremely, extremely valuable. That isn't for all pieces, but when you have pieces that are rare patterns or rare colors or whatever, the fact that there's a lid there can drastically increase its value. So once again, I bought this from a garage sale for $4. It's worth $320 to like $380 or $360. I'm not actually 100% sure because it can fluctuate a little bit. Not a bad buy in my opinion. I didn't even, I didn't even buy it because I knew it was valuable. I bought it because, oh, look at that. Oh, it glows green. That's really cool. That was basically my mindset when I purchased it. But not a bad buy. You never quite know what you're going to find at garage sales. It's very, very cool.